Hey there. The next story we're reading for Space Week is called Dr. Wonderful and Her Dog Blast Off to the Moon. The story is written by Lauren Gunderson and it's illustrated by Valerio Fabretti. This is a fun one. We're going to learn a little bit more about space while we're hanging out with this super cute pup. One very normal Tuesday, Dr. Wonderful came home from school with two things on her mind. 1, little dog Newton. 2, a question she couldn't wait to answer. Dr. Wonderful loved asking big questions, and answering them felt like solving great mysteries. So she sprang onto her bed, sending Newton for a loop, and asked, "Why does the moon shrink?" Good question. "What do you mean the moon shrinks?" Newton asked. "Well, for the past week, I've noticed that the moon is getting smaller," Dr. Wonderful said, pointing to the moon's white crescent. "But a week ago, it was getting bigger. Every month, it shrinks down to a sliver and disappears before it grows back to a ball. What I don't know is why." Look at all her moon drawings. The moon is so far away, Dr. Wonderful thought. "We're going to solve our mystery." Newton licked her face, trying to be helpful. Dr. Wonderful's eyes went wide as she got an idea. "We can go to the moon in the Space-tastic Mindmobile." "I call front seat," Newton said. T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off. They soared away from Earth and headed straight for the moon. As they got closer and closer, the moon got bigger and brighter. "Where do they plug it in?" Newton asked. "They don't, but it is bright. I wonder if the moon makes its own light like the sun, or reflects light like a mirror," Dr. Wonderful said. Then she noticed that the closer the spaceship got to the moon, the larger its shadow became. Aha! If we can see our shadow, it must mean that the moon doesn't make light like a star. It reflects the light coming back from the sun. Back on Earth, the moon looked like a crescent, but now I can see that the crescent is part of a big ball," Newton said, getting excited. Anything that looked like a ball reminded him of his favorite game, fetch. "You're right," Dr. Wonderful said, and started a list of clues that might help her understand why the moon shrinks. Remember, that's why they went into space. Why does the moon shrink? 1, the moon reflects light. 2, from the Earth, the moon looks like a crescent. But 3, the moon is actually a ball. Newton couldn't resist chasing and chewing his very own ball, which floated around the spaceship weightlessly. Watching Newton circle around his ball reminded Dr. Wonderful that the moon circles around, or orbits, the Earth. She added to her list of clues. 4, moon orbits Earth every month. And 5, tell Mom I need a bigger telescope. Dr. Wonderful did what she always did when she got closer to answering a big question. "Think, think, think," she said as the spaceship went sink, sink, sink to the surface of the moon. When they stepped out of their spaceship and looked around at the strange gray ground, all they could say was, "Wow." Things were very different on the moon than on Earth. It was so bright, Dr. Wonderful had to wear moon glasses. And instead of walking, they bounced around like old balloons. Each step lifted them up higher and set them down slower than on Earth. "Wahoo!" Newton said, jumping off the ground and twirling, twisting, tumbling before touching back down. Do you think your pets would like going to the moon? I think my cats would. Then they spotted the most amazing thing they'd ever seen. Earth. They waved to everyone back on their beautiful planet. During a quick break to play the coolest game of fetch in the universe, Dr. Wonderful noticed that the crescent-shaped shadow on Newton's ball made it look kind of like the moon. Interesting, Dr. Wonderful said, pocketing the ball and adding a clue. 6. Shadow makes ball look like crescent. Come on, Newton, she said. I think we're close to solving this moon mystery. As they bounced along, Dr. Wonderful noticed that her shadow was getting longer in front of her, as the sun was getting lower behind her. She added to her list of moon clues 7. Shadow's length as sun sets behind us. Then they walked into complete darkness. The sun couldn't reach them. Feels like we're on one big shadow, Dr. Wonderful thought. She ran back to the bright side of the moon and scribbled down more clues. 8, the moon has a dark side and a light side. 9, light side is sunny. 10, dark side is in shadow. That's it, Dr. Wonderful said, standing right in the middle of dark and light. The moon doesn't actually shrink. It just looks like it does because of its shadow. How does a shadow make something shrink? Newton asked. Only half of the moon is lit by the sun, while the other part is in its shadow, Dr. Wonderful said. On Earth, we can't see the part of the moon in shadow, so as the moon orbits Earth, we see different parts of the shadow, and it looks like the moon is growing and shrinking. Think of the moon as this ball, and the sun as my flashlight. If the side of the moon facing you is lit by the sun, you can see the whole bright ball, a full moon, right? You guys have seen a full moon, right? Big ball of light in the sky. But if the side of the moon you see is only partly lit by the sun, you'll only see part of the ball, a crescent. And if there's no light on the side of the moon facing Earth, you'll see, well, you won't see anything. Click. The moon is always there, even if you can't see it, Newton asked. Right, Dr. Wonderful said, and gave Newton a big moon hug. With their mystery finally solved, they played one last game of bouncy moon tag before heading home. That night, as Newton snoozed in the moonlight, Dr. Wonderful fell asleep thinking, I wonder what mystery we'll solve tomorrow. Well, here's some pretty cool moon facts. So, does the moon actually shrink and grow? Or does it just have a shadow on it, right? Well, pretty cool that we learned a little something new about space. If you want to pause the video, you can check out all these super fun lunar facts from Dr. Wonderful herself and have fun with the rest of your Space Week activities.